Let's say we're at a party. Maxwell's playing.
Love him.
You don't know me. I don't know you. And I ask you out on a date. Would you say yes?
Hills and valleys. Is that all our lives are? Just a collaboration of good things and wrong moments and bad things and right moments? Bobbing and weaving in and out of desire, passion, talent, and just hoping that the road ahead will just keep going? Masters of None Season 3 on Netflix feels like an A24 coming-of-age story, but with grown women in their 30s experiencing the hills and valleys inside of a relationship. It doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, or bi. The relationship between Denise and Alicia is something that a lot of people can relate to. Being in love with another person isn't enough to make a relationship last. I feel like all 5 episodes did a great job to show how much this couple loved each other, but tried to show also how important circumstance can play into anyone's relationship.
I am not a prop in your success. I am not your support in failure.
I'm a lazy critic, and Masters of None presents Moments in Love feels like an existentialism art piece about 2 women who embody the tragedy of a relationship being at the wrong time, but with the right people. This whole series had me making comparisons to my own relationship, even though I had nothing in common with what they were actually going through. I'm not trying to get pregnant right now, but their feelings towards one another, their desires, hopes, thoughts, opinions, all of it made me think a lot, and I just kept gravitating back towards comparing it to my own relationship.
To save my life, yeah? Would you lick someone's armpit every day for the rest of your life?
Denise and Alicia are portrayed as a happily married couple who recently moved to the countryside because Denise is now a big shot book writer. She's famous now. She has money, she's working on her next book. But I gotta say, this must be a difficult dynamic to navigate, especially if one of the people in the relationship feels as if they have always been in the valley, but only recently achieved what they think is their peak at the top of the hill.
You're just in a valley right now. I used to be in a valley. I climbed out of that.
Denise struggles with what she wants. She loves her wife, but she's also liking the success around her, and she doesn't want it to stop.
I don't know. I just feel like 10 months ago, everything was so different. Like, I wasn't a New York Times bestselling author. I didn't think I'd be working on a second book right now, which is killing me because it's not coming as fast as I would like. I just really want to focus on that.
But you can tell that Denise really loves Alicia because even though she has those thoughts and feelings, she pushes them aside so that way she can give the one thing that Alicia has been asking Denise this whole time. Because Alicia wants to become a mom. So it leads them down a path of trying to conceive, having bad things happen, and the eventual separation of 2 people who love each other.
I'm done.
But circumstances just got in the way.
Why did I find someone else's underwear downstairs?
Why did Denise have to act the way she did?
Should I have food first?
But also, why did Alicia give up so quickly? These 2 questions haunt the couple throughout their separation and later divorce. Yet, years went by and the 2 were able to reconnect like nothing ever happened. Separately, they were able to take care of the circumstances that were preventing them from being with one another.
So where does Erica think you're going?
She thinks I'm going to a writer's retreat. Where does Regina think you're going?
I told her I needed a weekend to myself.
That years later, like magnets, they found each other again. But this time they are more complete individuals who are stronger because they took time apart. I really like the ending of this little mini-series, Moments in Love, because it felt like from the beginning, I knew this is how it was gonna all play out. But now having watched it, I understand why their journey had to take the path that it did. Hills and valleys. Relationships are hard and complicated.
You know what this is? This is marriage. Right here. It's a fucking fight. Either you stay or you go.
I'm going!
I can only imagine what it must be like to give someone years of your life to, and to find out that they've always believed themselves to be in the valley, even though you're right next to them, supposedly in love. Quite frankly, that would hurt my feelings, making me feel as if I'm alone in the relationship. I think that's why Alicia didn't even want to try and repair it. The miscarriage felt as if it was more devastating to her than to Denise, which is not a feeling you should be having if the two of you truly are life partners in all of this. I understand why Alicia left so quickly, but also can understand why Denise cheated. I'm not saying that it was a good thing, but it was a way for her to escape the pressure she was under. The pressure from the deadline of the second book, as well as her wife pressuring her to start a family. The two of them may have loved each other, but in this moment in time, it wasn't the right time for them to be together.
You know, I love that you don't have to hide anything from me anymore.
I ain't got to hide shit from you. We ain't married no more. Okay? I will happily eat this moon pie in bed.
Which is why I love the 5th episode so much. The first episode did such a lovely job in setting up the foundation and showing why Denise and Alicia belong together, that I can follow the logic of the two of them eventually finding their way back to each other. The heart wants what it wants.
She's just not you.
The reason as to why I felt such a connection to this couple, in large part, is because of the aesthetic Aziz and Ansari chose to direct the show. The camera hardly ever moved. We spend long periods of time just watching the characters, just living.
This brown love is gonna work. Come here. No, come on. Yes.
Okay.
So a lot of it felt like moments of love that I could relate to in my own love life. Being 100% comfortable in your surroundings, especially with the human whom you love most in the world right beside you, it's a nice feeling to be able to lie on a tree and just get lost in your own thoughts without being scared that you won't be accepted in the world, because the truth is, their opinion is the only one that actually matters.
I've just felt so relaxed. Me too. It's probably because we finally took our masks off. You know? Let our guard down.
Every minute felt so romantic, and even though it wasn't a perfect relationship, I really felt like they did a marvelous job in telling a love story from a different perspective and showing things I never considered because of my privilege of being straight and being white-ish. I think it was nice that they took the time to spend a whole episode on Alicia trying to conceive and all of the things she had to go through basically by herself just because she wanted to be a mom. At one point, a doctor even tells her that they don't have a policy for queer people wanting to conceive, literally saying,
they have a code for being attacked by an orca, and they have a code for being sucked into a jet engine, but not for gay and desires pregnancy.
So bad.
It really is, and while it worked out for Alicia, a fictional character in a Netflix show, imagine all the people out there in the real world who are affected just because of loving who they love. Life is already complicated enough, why do you have to add this on top of it? Love is so complicated, relationships are so complicated, why is everything so complicated? Is this what I have to look forward to in the next 50 years? Just a bunch of complications? I don't know, but this brings me back to my thoughts on this series being an existentialism art piece. Episode 1 ends the same as episode 5. Even though there's 5 years of experiences in between, they still find their way back to each other, but are stuck in this same loop of not the right time, but with the right person. It's hard not to give in to that passion once you found it, because there's nothing in the world like it. There's so much beauty to be seen amongst partners. In my own relationship, I love the small little moments in life where my man laughs in a certain way and it just lights up my life instantly. I feel like a lot of people can relate to these little moments that they show, vibing and dancing, being silly, all while doing a mundane task that if done by yourself would be boring. But it's the most absolute fun because you're with someone whom you love. that's something I 100% can relate to. Being unabashedly myself, saying every thought in my head, expressing every feeling, every emotion, all of it. Now, I've never been cheated on. I'm in a straight relationship. I'm still in my 20s, and I'm a long way from even thinking about having kids, but I still found myself finding connections to their moments in love. They left the final episode with an ambiguous ending that signifies how there's no right answer when it comes to the matters of the heart. There's a lot of hate out there floating around about how this miniseries is trash, but I don't agree with any of it. I absolutely loved it. For me, it provoked a lot of feelings and thoughts that I never would have had without watching this. So that's a big plus in my book, and I hope more people would give it a chance. If you get bored, I'm sorry, but I just really like this aesthetic. A melancholy existentialism art dream. I've seen this kind of style before in movies like The Painted Veil, Atonement, Blue Valentine, Pan's Labyrinth, Carol, Marriage Story. It just rips my heart out with how beautiful the cinematography is. Is this a genre? If this is a genre, what is it called? Or share stuff that I should watch that fits into this aesthetic, because I'm just in love with it. I am too hyper of a person that watching sad stuff brings me back down to reality, and it's something that I need.
Yeah. I said yes, then I say yes now.
I'm a lazy critic, and I hope you have a wonderful day.